like I said, when I first met you, I heard you speak once and I knew that you were a power woman. So I don't think we get enough of that.
No, that to the top mentality isn't necessarily helpful.
Especially, I mean, you're out there and it's all men and you're a girl and I've been scared sometimes. Everything in my life on paper is perfect. Why is it not clicking?
What common threads do you see enables someone to become that power woman?
That's a good one.
Welcome back to another episode of the We Grow Together podcast. I am tremendously excited to be here with my friend Gina Lizzo. She is the editor of Mainline Today Magazine and the orchestrator behind Power Women for 2024, which I was very incredibly honored to be a part of. It was an incredible honor and so much fun. So Gina, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, as you said, I'm Gina Lizzo. I'm the managing editor for Mainline Today Magazine. I live right around the corner from Flourish in Westchester, and I have to say, when I met you, I first met you at a panel you were speaking at, and I remember just sitting there. Yes, and I remember sitting there and being like, "Power woman, done deal." Like you were the ultimate power woman of all time. I think.
Thank
so
you.
I'm just incredibly inspired by you. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. And I'm incredibly inspired by you. I actually have had a lifelong dream of producing and creating a magazine. And it's something that I have been working on in the background for quite some time. So is being a managing editor what you were always dreaming of and the vision that you had for yourself?
No, not at all, actually, which is funny. I started out as a young kid. I was always a writer. I loved it. I wrote short stories all the time. I remember we had an assignment, and I think my fourth grade class, and it was to write a 2-page story. And me being who I am, wrote a 45-page story. So I was always a writer, but by the time I got to college, I grew up playing golf, and I grew up in that golf world, and it just kind of made sense to go into business. I just thought it'd be the best opportunity. I'd have the best job outlook. So I went to school for marketing, loved it, thought that was what I was going to do forever, social media marketing, had internships in it, loved it, had my first job out of college. I actually graduated a year early because I was so excited to work. I graduated May 9th and started working May 11th. I was just so excited, hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Wow.
Thought maybe it was just the company I was at. Maybe I didn't love the culture. Switched to another one. Still wasn't finding it. And I remember kind of sitting there being like, is this how people are supposed to live? Is this, I don't want this. I don't want this for the rest of my life. So Mainline Today kind of fell into my lap. The woman who was the managing editor at the time, Kim Douglas, reached out to me, and she said that she'd seen my marketing blog article. She knew I could write. She knew I played golf, and she had an article to write about golf. Knew nothing about it, and asked if I would do it for her, with her.
Wow.
So I wrote the article. She said it was pretty good. Did I want to keep doing it? So I started as a freelance writer and just fell in love. It was I found my spark. This is what I meant to do. This is what I love. So I just kind of worked my way up. I was I'm going to beat down this door till they let me in. I grew up in the area, so I'd always known Mainline Today. I loved it so much. And I would dog sit for the editor-in-chief, and I would clean his whole house. And then eventually he offered me a job doing their social media as their digital editor, and just kind of worked my way up to managing editor.
I mean, that's beyond incredible of what you've been able to achieve in your career thus far. And I'm sure that you have a lot of different fun parts of it, but what's your favorite part of your role?
I think my favorite part is the connections I get to make. And I love to see people, exposure like this can change things for a small business. And
Absolutely.
It means so much to me that I can feature small businesses or small business owners, and just to hear from them how their business has grown from it or how it's positively impacted them. I think to be able to have that positive impact just means so much to my life. I feel like I have so much purpose through that.
Yeah, I can, as a small business owner, fully understand and attest to that. And I feel like there's so much community within this magazine, but also within your role that I've seen, that I've been able to be a part of, that I can imagine is so much fun to do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
What's your process like of bringing a magazine from ideation to in your hands?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on what the project is that we're working on, because so many are different, which is also, you hear everybody say, I don't want to do the same thing every day. So I definitely have that in this role. It's different all the time. But we start out with the ideas come from either people reaching out, or maybe I've seen something, I'm out in the community all the time, so I'm meeting people, maybe I'm meeting and finding ideas through that way. And then I kind of start either with my topic or my person. I reach out for my interviews, we set up photo shoots, it gets written. I do my interview and then I transcribe the whole thing and print it out and highlight it. I'm old school. I like to see, I guess it makes sense. I work for a magazine. I like printed paper.
Me too.
But I like to print it out, highlight it, mark it up, write it, and then it goes off to my editor-in-chief who, finalizes the edits, and then we design it and put it into the magazine. And it's the best feeling to see something go from my printed out transcript interview to what it looks like fully designed in the magazine. It just feels so cool to hold that in your hands and feel like I did this.
Oh, absolutely. So much just joy and contentment from creation. One of my favorite parts of all the things that I do too. I feel like with a magazine, there's a lot of planning and logistics with the photo shoots and everything that goes into it. How far ahead are you planning? Are you thinking Christmas by July, or what's the vibe?
Yeah, so right now we've already planned out through midsummer, and it's end of fall, starting,
midsummer next year.
Yeah, so we're always working ahead. Even our Power Woman issue, that's an October issue, and I've already have been thinking of who's going to be in it next year. I've already started to map that out. So it's funny because, for me, Christmas has come and gone because we've already put that issue to bed. It's over to me. And then by the time Christmas comes around, I'm like, haven't we already done this?
Deja vu.
Yeah, which is funny. And the other day I was saying to my family, what are we doing for Christmas? And they were like, it's July. But I'm always kind of thinking several months ahead. So.
Is there a way that you find success in planning ahead? I feel like planning ahead is so crucial to either people's lives or their businesses or anything like that. Do you have some tips on how to stay ahead and not get behind and then continue to propel what you want to do in the future while being present and doing what you need to do now?
I think one way for me, I have a decent memory, but if I try to keep my to-do list in my head, it's not going to get done. So I'm a huge advocate of writing everything down and tracking progress. And what I mean by that is if I'm working on an article and I need to interview 5 people and set up 5 different photo shoots, I have a spreadsheet for that project and I'm tracking, okay, person A, I emailed them on 10/1, they got back to me on 10/3, I responded 10/3 and I'm still waiting to hear back, or this person's already been done, interviewed, photographed, done. I color coordinate, I write down all the dates. So I think my biggest tip to stay organized and keep going with your plan is to track it in a written down matter, a typed up matter on your computer. Just don't think you'll remember it, because the things I think I'm going to remember, I never remember.
Yeah, that makes so much sense now that you talk about it, because I can only imagine with the number of people that you're interviewing, how much follow-up that requires and how much just thoughtfulness and attentiveness to detail that it requires.
Right. And it helps to be able to look back and say, okay, it's now 10/10. I interviewed on 10/1. I haven't heard back. Now's a good time for a follow-up. So it definitely helps to stay on track and keep everything down, so I don't have to go looking through my email and, oh, when did I email them? Have I heard back? Because I'm working on so many things at once, it's easy to forget certain things. So I definitely recommend, I'm a spreadsheet girl through and through.
Yeah, I love a good spreadsheet. I'm not going to lie, conditional formatting, where it auto changes colors based on what your input is, makes my heart so happy.
Yes.
Love all of those formatting specialties. There's so much fun.
It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else as long as it makes sense to you. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Branded, color-coded spreadsheet. Like all of my Dean Street Law business development tracker is all Dean Street Law colors.
Yes, exactly. And then you just feel a little bit more organized and cohesive about it too.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And are you mainly focused on the magazine, or are you also part of the event planning such as the Power Woman Summit?
So for things like Best of the Mainline Party or Power Women, they coincide a little bit, editorial and marketing and events, just because, editorial puts the list together and then marketing plans around that list. So we coincide a little bit, but not too much. And because of the Power Woman event, I introduced all the women. So I had to be in on those marketing planning meetings just so I knew what was going on and how the day was going to map out, to keep everybody on the same page, but not too much. I would say I'm definitely more, obviously I'm more involved in editorial, but I wouldn't say too much in marketing.
Yeah, very nice. So when you're putting together the Power Women issue, which to me is like just the coolest thing ever, I have loved this issue for a very long time and have seen some of my friends nominated towards it and awarded with it and everything. So when you're thinking of a Power Woman and being a Power Woman yourself, what traits and characteristics do you want to emulate yourself as a Power Woman? You certainly are. And that are you looking for in others?
Yeah, I think one of the good things about a regional magazine is that all of these women, I live near them. I know them. I've met them. I see them. I hang out with them. So it's not like we're national and I'm looking at a woman in California. I've never met her. I have no idea. So I think one of the main things is I think there's a certain energy to it. And you pick up, like I said, when I first met you, I heard you speak once and I knew that you were a Power Woman. So I think there's a certain energy, and it's that idea of being active in the community, wanting to make positive changes and impacts in the community. It's a matter of uplifting other women. It's not so much how are you successful at your career, but how are you inspiring others? What are you doing beyond making good numbers in your business or having a great bottom line? It's so much more than that, which is something I love about it. Like, it's not just, this woman was CEO of the year, but she's a great mother and she does all these things at her child's school. And she also does philanthropy, which is another huge part of it. I love how a lot of our Power Women have philanthropy sides to them. So there's a lot of characteristics, but I think what I mainly look for is that energy, that connection to the community, wanting to be in the community. You see them everywhere. You see how people respond to them. They're loved by so many. And we just have, it's funny because at the end of, not this past Power Woman event, but last year, I remember looking around the room and being like, oh my gosh, how are we going to find 20 more? And then you find 60 more. And it's like, it never stops because there's just so many great people here.
Which we are so fortunate for. I love our community so much and couldn't imagine being anywhere else, truly. Discover Flourish Coworking Space, where your best ideas come to life in a lush, sustainable, and inspiring environment. Nestled in the heart of Westchester, Pennsylvania, Flourish is more than a workspace. It's a community that nurtures your growth. Whether you're an entrepreneur, creative, or professional, you'll find the perfect setting to thrive or host events. Come as you are, and let's grow together. Book your tour today and start flourishing. So for a young woman, maybe just in college or at the beginning of her career, what common threads do you see enables someone to become that Power Woman, that woman who's not just successful in her own right, but also a leader in her community? And how does she become connected? Do you see through lines in the people that you speak with?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I would have is networking events are important. I will always stand by that. I think showing up is important. Being active in your community is important, but don't just go to these events and network and throw your business card at everything that sticks. Like, you really need to focus on connections. Like, where is your energy aligning? And that's a whole discussion about having your energy right in the first place, and then you can align it with others. It's really forming those genuine relationships where you're going to, having somebody's business card really doesn't mean anything, in my opinion. But if you can have a lasting impression, or you walked away with, oh my gosh, that woman left an impact on me, I feel connected to her, I think that is the way to kind of grow in your community and build connection, your network.
Yeah. And I do want to go down that rabbit hole of energy and having that energy yourself and building community through that energy. What for you has helped you have the energy that you want as a woman?
I think I would say like a year and a half ago, I kind of hit my personal rock bottom. And Shelly always says, if you hit your rock bottom, congratulations. Like, it's only up from here. And I love that. Like, she celebrates those rock bottoms. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And it's kind of where I learned it from Shelly Hughes. So I kind of hit my rock bottom and I was like, all right, like everything in my life on paper is perfect. Why is it not clicking? And I found out that it was that energy. Like, I was not putting the right energy out there. So I kind of had to turn inward and look at myself and be like, who do you want to be? Like, how can you live more authentically? How can you be more genuine? How can you make those connections and not just network? So I learned from that and kind of turned my energy around and found that the energy that I'm putting out in the world, the energy comes back. There's this book, it's called The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent. And it's a little bit kooky.
I love a good book recommendation, and I love kooky. I'm all for it.
It's a little bit kooky, but it talks all about putting that energy in and getting it back. And there's one chapter where they talk about money. And it's like, if you live in that scarcity mindset and you think, oh, I'm so scared, I don't have money, I don't have money to pay these bills, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, you're not going to have money. But if you live in a mindset of abundance where you're thinking everything's fine, I will have the money, I will meet my needs, it's going to be okay, like, then the money flows. And I remember reading that chapter in bed one night and thinking, like, let's just try it. Like, let's see what happens. So I kind of went to bed with those thoughts. And the next morning I woke up to 2 texts from my bank, $70 deposited and $30 deposited.
I love
like,
that.
They're probably Amazon returns. I don't know, but I'm not going to look into it. I'm just going to assume that this works. So I kind of, that's a silly example, but I saw it through that. Really, what you put out there is what comes back to you. And I can feel when my energy is off. Like,
same. I feel like one of my true jobs in life is to like monitor my energy. And if there's like something going on, I'm not feeling myself, I'm not feeling good, is to just like figure it out, work through it, get to the place that I want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my next journey that I'm on. Is I'm so busy all the time and I feel best when I'm productive, but there are times when I need to stop and slow down. And if I take one night where I don't do any work or send any emails, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to take that time for myself. And I can only put that good energy out there if I am taking those times to just sit in peace and be okay. So I'm learning that that's not anything to feel bad about. That doesn't make me lazy. That doesn't make me unproductive. It actually makes me more productive because I can be my best self when I know to take those times.
Exactly. It's something I work on every day as well. And it's something where I love all of my side projects, whether it be the farm or making gowns or anything like that. And so for me, it never really feels like work, but I'm like, no, we got to just literally do other people get bored in life. We can like try to I'm not going to get bored, but we can try to like be still enough and just watch TV for half a day or a day or whatever it is. It's shocking, but it's crazy sometimes how people with that inner energy have a very challenging time, even if it's not work, just not doing things.
I feel very bad about it. Like, it makes me feel bad about myself and it makes me feel lazy, and I'm trying to combat that and realize it's not lazy. But I think high productive people and high energy people struggle with that. And I've always been, my whole life was always like, even in kindergarten, I thought about the SATs in kindergarten. I was always, what's next? How am I working towards my next goal? I got to put all this work in. And so I'm just learning. I'm 25 now. It's taking me all this time to realize, like, it's okay to just sit. Like, it doesn't make you any less of a person, doesn't make you any less successful.
Exactly.
I'm learning.
Yeah, me too. I feel like for me, it's really just like, I'm sitting on the couch and I'd rather be working in the barn.
Right.
And I'm like, but we can't just always be working.
Right.
Even if it's the fun stuff that you enjoy working in the barn, you gotta just chill. So a challenge, but a good one, and a good learning lesson that I think we all continue to learn about ourselves throughout life. And that's what helps us move from one area of our life and one level or one part of our path to another. And I have a hard time thinking that we're necessarily always like getting to the next level, because I'm like, the level before wasn't bad. It's just an earlier evolution. I like to say we're an everyday evolution of ourselves, and that's just an earlier evolution of ourselves.
I love that.
Yeah. Try to, I think sometimes, especially with ambitious people, we're always like, that to the top mentality isn't necessarily helpful, because it negates how incredible everything else has been, which I feel like it generally is. We all go through our challenges, our lows, our rock bottoms, but on the whole, for the most part, life's pretty darn incredible. And so I always want to be respectful of how good things are currently, because I think sometimes as ambitious women, if you always glamorize how good it can be, you really can get yourself into a bit of a situation.
Right. And I think a big thing with that for me has been practicing gratitude and being able to sit in the now and appreciate, like, yes, there are 100 billion things I want one day and dreams I have for the future, but look at right now, and right now is so good. And that also comes from, living my purpose and living in my energy. Like, I'm making every day good. I start each day with 3 things I'm grateful for, and then I end each day with 3 things I'm grateful for, and I try to make them different every day, because there are so many things that you can make them different every day. But I think really trying to focus on gratitude helps you stay in the moment and be thankful for the now, while still acknowledging that there's a lot you want to come, but it's okay to just be right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. My favorite practice is I put little hearts in my agenda of good moments throughout the day, of like my favorite moments throughout the day that happened. And so that's my way of being like, I love this. I'm grateful for this. I want more of this.
Right.
And you love connecting with my friend Shannon Missimer. She's the founder of the Motion of Gratitude. So this whole practice of gratitude that she and her husband have really been bringing to schools, organizations, to try to help people find contentedness and happiness in their everyday life.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we get enough of that.
No. I don't think so either. I feel like we have gotten into a place in the world where things move so quickly. There's so many platforms. There's so many messages, calls, emails, so many things pulling us in so many different directions, that it can be challenging to not only live in the moment, but also absorb, appreciate, have gratitude for it. Do you have anything that you do to stay present and manage all of the demands on your time, attention, and energy?
I think just really that idea of staying super in tune with my energy, because the second it's off, I know everything's going to come tumbling down. So staying in tune with my energy in this moment, hour by hour, task by task, I think that helps me stay present and grounded and grateful. I think it's so easy to just, your energy gets off and you can continue, that snowballs. Like, you can just continue to, and maybe things are snowballing because your energy is off. But I think trying to keep in mind, this is how I feel my best. I'm going to try to stay in that lane. I hate that expression. Is a great way to be present and, stay up to date and current with what's going on.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. The number one question I'm asked is, how do I do all of the things that I do? So I made a course, workshop, and workbook sharing all the details. Unleash your potential with the Wild Ambition Lifestyle Design course. Transform your dreams into reality with guided vision setting, storyboarding, journaling, and all the tools that I use to bring my dreams to life. With over 100 lessons, 200 plus pages of workbooks, and lifetime access so you can return to it whenever you need, you'll have all the tools that you need. Empower yourself with actionable steps to create the life you've always desired. This course is the blueprint to achieving confidence, success, and fulfillment. Join our community of ambitious individuals committed to living their most authentic lives. Start your journey today and enroll now to dream and live with wild ambition. You do a lot throughout your life with farmers markets and friends' businesses and boyfriends' businesses and everything like that. I've seen some beautiful modeling that you've done, which I really love. You know, when you are supporting others and helping others, how is that impacting your life while simultaneously impacting their life?
I think it makes me lean more into my purpose and makes me live my life more genuinely, because my whole job is about uplifting the community and helping them grow their businesses. So why would I not, like, it doesn't just end when I write about you. Like I do a lot for Maddie Coble of Maddie's on a Roll, and help her at farmers market when she needs. But it's funny because I met her through interviewing her, and then we just formed a relationship after that. But me promoting her business and helping her didn't just end, okay, I wrote my article, you know, we can be done now. But it has continued. And I think that really, you know, it's what I feel like my purpose is. It's what my passion is. And it just doesn't stop with my day job.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And do you still golf and everything?
Yes, just casually now with my dad. I'm more of a pickleballer.
Are you? That's fun.
Yeah, which is another great community to get into.
Absolutely. Do you play locally at any of like the clubs and things in the area?
In Glen Mills, we played all summer at Concord Township, and now for the winter we'll be inside at Glen Mills School.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I've been picking up golf with my fiance James, and he's been showing me how to golf and giving me all the tips on my swing and everything. So it's been a really fun thing to do together.
I think women in golf is so underrated. I played on the boys golf team in high school. I was captain junior and senior year. And I remember a lot of boys were angry at me for taking that spot from them. Like, this is a boys team. What are you doing here? You're taking a spot from us. And I remember just always kind of having the attitude, like, when you can beat me, you can have the spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it goes. And I remember one of my teachers telling them, like, oh, I have to leave class early. You know, we have a golf match. You know, here's the permission slip, and him saying to me, do you know what golf stands for? And he said, gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. And I've never forgotten it. But I've seen a lot over the years, like misogynistic or just any comments like that. Being a woman in golf especially, I mean, you're out there and it's all men and you're a girl, and I've been scared sometimes. I've seen a lot of it, but I think being able to go out there as a woman in a predominantly male sport and hold your own is one of the most incredibly underrated things.
Yeah, not only hold your own, but clearly top the boys to hold the spot that you did. I think it's a really empowering thing too for women to learn how to play golf, because so many business conversations happen on the golf course. And so whenever there have been networking events with golf, I'm like, sign myself up. I have no idea how to play, but I will be there. And it's the fact that you're not counting yourself out before you can even get in the door, right? And I think a lot of women are intimidated by golf because it is a sport that you have to dedicate a tremendous amount of time to be good at it. But I really love that a lot of organizations are focusing on, okay, sure, we're going to do a golf outing, but if you'd like to just do a golf clinic as a part of it, that's a way to join. Or join us for the golf clinic and outing, and then we'll all get together afterwards. Or we're going to play best ball tournament where you can be good and you don't have to be good. And so I think everybody being a lot more thoughtful about approaching golf in a more fair way is really important. And then also, as a woman, not having that fear, although you rightfully go through that experience, but overcoming that to be able to show up and be the person that you want to be.
Right. I think if men get to use it to grow their businesses and network and make connections, why can't women?
100%. Absolutely. I'm so in favor of also flipping the script and being like, okay, well, guys go to network via golf. So do you want to go to a yoga class? Do you want to go to Pilates? Do you want to go to a cycle bar? Do you want to go do anything active? Do you want to go hike? So I saw that in my career and started to invite people to network in more interesting ways, because I like a lunch, but it doesn't give me anything. If I'm going to be spending my time, I want to be outdoors, enjoying myself, doing something a little bit more than the norm to have a good conversation.
Right. That's such a different way to look at it. I love that because I feel like it's a different setting. It's a more natural setting and you're able to form better connections that way.
There are challenges with certain sports, with cycling or with yoga. You're not going to be talking during the session, whereas with golf and hiking you are. But depending on the relationship and what you're looking for, you could always do that and then go grab a bite to eat or go grab coffee or something or smoothie or, a bowl or something like that, like something that you both would enjoy.
I love that. I'm going to use that.
Go for it. I'm all for it. I feel like we should continue to push the boundaries of what's quote unquote normal. Why is it just expected that you go out to golf to network? What's different about going to yoga instead? Pushing the boundaries.
I love that.
I'm all for it in all regards. So getting into some fun things.
Okay.
What are you currently reading?
Oh, I just started. So I'm a huge magazine reader, first of all. I love Town and Country. It's my favorite magazine. But I feel like that gets me inspired. But so I like to, this is really weird. I like to read fiction, like a physical book, but I like to listen to nonfiction.
Me too.
So I'm reading fiction, The Wedding People, which I'm only like 40 pages in. I started it last night. I just picked it up at Maybe Books in Ardmore. So I'm really excited. But nonfiction, I'm reading a book I saw at Ethereal Farms, Mastering Your Mean Girl.
Stop it!
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
When I was there, I took a picture of it. I was like, I have to remember this. And I just started listening to it.
So fun. I have so many libraries.
Yeah.
I have like 7 libraries.
Best books, though.
Thank you. Do you love how it's color-coded?
Yes. I know. And you know what? I noticed that.
It's gently color-coded because everybody switches it around every visit.
Right.
And the cleaning team doesn't re-color code it. But as soon as I go back in there, I'm like, no. The blues go here. The pinks go here. The creams go here. The golds go here.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that. And what's been like one of your most influential books on your life, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, something that you'd recommend for others in their journey?
My favorite book of all time, and it's like my go-to gift for everyone. It's called Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And other than the fact that it's like the most beautiful looking book in the world, and it looks so beautiful on the shelf, it honestly changed my life. I've read it twice and I've listened to it maybe 6 or 7 times. It's kind of just my safe place in a weird way. Like when I put that on, it's like the effect that like Taylor Swift music has to other people. Like that audiobook has that effect for me. And it really changed my life in terms of how I live and, pushing those boundaries, like you said, and not constricting yourself to fit into this box, but you can really do anything and be anything you want to be.
Yeah. That has been on my TBR list for a good long while. So we're bumping it up quite a number of spots with that recommendation.
So worth it.
Yeah.
So worth it.
I love the book. It's so beautiful.
Right.
It's so pretty.
Right.
But I have the same thing. I might as well stop buying nonfiction physically because the only way that I read it, unless it's horses, if it's equestrian, then I'm flipping through it all day long. But if it's anything else, it is so hard for me to pick it up because I feel like it's not work, but it feels a lot more like work than it does to pick up a fiction book, which I love paging through.
It's a nice escape.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. And I find that my writing's better when I'm reading heavily. I sleep better when I read before. I'm trying to, instead of scrolling through my phone, like when I feel like I want to scroll, picking up a book instead, or even having the book app on my phone and having a book downloaded when I want to scroll, like let's scroll and read through a book instead. And I feel like that does a lot more for my mental health and makes me less tired because that endless doom scroll, I find myself in that way too often, and I can feel the effects on my brain. Like I can feel that it makes me more tired and throws me out of my energy. So I'm trying to swap those endless social media scrolls with books and knowledge and healthy things.
I love that. Do you have some fun fall activities that you're sprinkling in as your healthy fun activities to replace that?
I'm glad that Halloween is over because I'm the biggest scaredy cat ever.
Me too. I can't do anything. Like no scary movies, no sad movies. No. I need happy endings only.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate scary stuff. I don't like being scared. It's funny because I love to I'll play dress up all day long in like evening gowns and whatnot, but I do not want to dress up for Halloween. I hate it. But I'm excited for Thanksgiving because I love to cook. I love to be in the kitchen. My dad kind of instilled that in me. I'm an only child and I'm an Italian. So he kind of passed that on to me. So the Thanksgiving fall activities are more my speed than the Halloween.
Mm-hmm. The cozy ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The reading with a book and a good blanket or cute pajamas and a candle.
Oh, I love
Not
it.
a haunted house.
No. If you like that, you might enjoy the book I just finished, which is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore.
Okay.
It's a romance, modern romance, but it's actually written by Lori Gilmore.
Oh,
and I don't know if that's her actual name. I think that's her name. But I don't know if it's her actual name or if she's just pulling the name from the Gilmores.
Right.
Because it's very much that vibe. It's that town. It's cozy mystery. It's cozy, not mystery, but cozy fall feelings. I just finished it. I needed some good feelings and good fiction. And so I picked that up from Target and absolutely loved it.
I've been meaning to give Gilmore Girls a good watch through because I feel like it's very fall.
You haven't yet?
I haven't yet.
Okay, so I completely agree. To me, Gilmore Girls is your rainy day while you're in the kitchen. Don't really have to be watching it. Like I like it in the passive way of watching it. And it's very cozy. I pick it up. I put it down. Like to me, it may take me my entire life to get through all of the Gilmore Girls episodes, but I feel like that's almost my version of it or my appreciation of it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to sprinkle it in like you're sprinkling cinnamon on things, just a little touch here and there.
It's a comfort show.
Yeah. Other people binge it. And sometimes I go through my times where I'm like watching 4 episodes at a time for sure. But then I'm like, okay, I've had enough. And then I'm like, okay, let me pause, enjoy other things, and then get back to it. But it's something my sisters return to all the time. And it's very cozy, comfy fall feelings and very nostalgic, very 90s, early 2000s nostalgic type of feeling.
That has like such a safe feeling to me for some reason.
Right?
I guess that's maybe because like when I grew up, like early 2000s was when I was growing up. So it feels kind of like a safety blanket, I guess. But I have to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to love it. And then how can everybody get in touch with you so that they can connect with you? Because it has been such an incredible conversation and you're such a wonderful leader in our community. I'm so grateful that we were able to spend the time with you, but I know that people are going to want to connect with you and cheer you on and support you in all of your adventures.
Thank you. I'm easiest to reach by email, which sounds weird for somebody my age to say that, but it's what I'm the most in tune with. Which is glizzo@mainlinetoday.com. I'm also reachable by Instagram, which I'm not always most responsible on, but I'm trying to be better. And that's Gina Lizzo _.
Love that. And we'll have all of that in the show notes so that everyone can connect with you. And if you have one thing you just want to leave us off with and share, would love that.
I think now more than ever, especially really lean into the women around you and form those connections with them. Like you have no idea how much the inspiration and the empowerment from other women can change your own life. And you have no idea how you could change even somebody else's life. So lean into the women around you, find that inspiration, connect, and, focus on your energy.
Absolutely. Cheers to you. Cheers to everyone else. You are such an incredible power woman. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for joining for another episode of the We Grow Together podcast. We will see you in the next episode. Be sure to subscribe, share with your friends, tag us on social media. We look forward to having you in the next episode.